Hey, welcome in.
Welcome to the Arrowhead Addict podcast.
We are here coming to you live.
The Kansas City Chiefs are going to the Super Bowl. You only win a Super Bowl 2 times every 5 years, right? Oh! The warm-up act is over. Let's bring in Melissa Etheridge, massive Chiefs fan. Melissa.
Super Bowl champion, 2-time Pro Bowler, and Trent Green. Trent Green, how you doing?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
He picked it up! He picked it up! He's gonna score! We'll see you next week, but until then, as always, go Chiefs. Welcome in. It's the Arrowhead Addict podcast. It's a Monday, y'all. I don't know if it's not Tuesdays with Sterling. Is it the OG hour? It's definitely not Wacky Wednesday. Is it the Arrowhead Addict Christmas special? I don't know, but listen, we didn't want to leave you hanging, so we wanted to get you ready for this Christmas Day game and also give the crew a little bit of a break here at the holidays. Patrick Allen here with you, joined by my guy Sterling Holmes, who this is our second little bit of radio podcasting today.
Yeah, we had a nice little 20-minute, a tight 20 on some radio today. It was nice.
Yeah, I'm just going to ask you all the questions that you asked me this morning, and then everybody can get both sides of it. So you're still in your parents' house. How's the whole thing going with your living situation?
Wow, shots fired. Way to make that sound just horrible. Yeah, I'm podcasting from my parents' basement. Yeah, that's where I do my podcast from. No, we are actually moving along very nicely at the house. My wife's parents supposedly coming up and staying with us starting tomorrow on Christmas Eve. So that's exciting. The hall bathroom should be finished today. So if the hall bathroom gets finished today, I'm heading back over to the house tonight and setting up the guest bedroom. So that way they can come over tomorrow and it should be ready. We'll see. Master bedroom is still not done. That won't be done for a little bit. So we're going to be staying in one of the guest rooms, sleeping on the floor with a mattress, of course. We're a lot of moving parts. I don't know where and when I'm going to be doing the shows and what parts I'll be doing them from. Just know that I will be here with everyone enjoying this, and I will find a way to make it work because I care about you. Yes, you. If I'm pointing at you and you see my finger, it's because I care about you.
And if you're listening, he's pointing at you. So you sold your house that I've been at before.
Yes,
Sterling,
correct. The one you broke into and did the podcast from. Yes, that one has now been sold. I figured since you and Verderam have both been there, I thought it was a little dangerous to have that house because you guys, knew where I lived and could break in anytime you wanted. Thought it'd be better to get a fresh one, get the bad juju out.
Well, I'm going to miss that place. I think you should have thrown a rager before you shut it down, but that's all right. So listen, everybody, weird week, right? It's Christmas is on a Wednesday. It's Monday, December 23rd. Depending, maybe you're not listening to this on Monday, so that's when we're recording it. We're going to do something we don't normally do. We don't like to take shows off, but dang it, it's Christmas, and that's the one thing where we're kind of drawing the line a little bit. And I think we did this last year as well. So we're not going to have a show on Christmas Day. We're going to give the whole crew Christmas Day off, and so we're going to preview the Steelers game for you, and then you'll have our reactions from the game on Thursday, the day after Christmas, for the regular OG hour. I'll be here, same time, same bat place, and we'll get you the reactions to the game. Of course, you can always check us out on Twitter. We'll be on Twitter, I'm sure, tweeting about the game, the whole Arrowhead Addict crew. And of course, if you want to watch the game with us, you could do so in our private Discord for our members. All you got to do to find out about that and how you can support the show is check out the link in the description below. So before we get to the Steelers, Sterling, you and I talked about this on the radio this morning. And of course, anybody that caught the post-game show got some of your thoughts. But now you've had some time to sit with this game against the Texans. Both of you and I agreed, hey, this was the most complete game the Chiefs played so far this year, or I think as you put it, they finally played a normal game. What were your thoughts on this game? How are you feeling about it now a few days out?
Yeah, again, 1 second on that, Patrick. I see the Chiefs have signed Robert Tonyan, the tight end, former Packers, to their practice squad. We'll hit on Robert Tonyan in a second. I think that's a little interesting conversation to be had there. So we'll talk about Robert Tonyan in just a little bit. But yeah, as far as the game went, it was enjoyable. I don't know how everyone else felt, but I was comfortable watching that Chiefs victory over the Texans. Andy Reid, I thought, had maybe one of, if not his best called game of the season. Patrick looked dialed. Wanya Morris did a great job when he filled in for Juwan Taylor. I thought the offensive line played one of their best games of the entire season. Even Juwan Taylor, before he went out with injury, I thought Juwan did a very nice job. I think Trey Smith maybe had the worst, in my opinion, game of anyone on the offensive line, even with taking away one of the holding penalties that was clearly not a holding penalty. I think you actually have to hold someone to get a holding penalty, not just, manhandle them like that. But overall, I think the Chiefs looked really good. One of my favorite aspects of the game was Xavier Worthy, Hollywood Brown, and DeAndre Hopkins on the field at the same time. They were in a trip set, bunch set on the left side. Travis Kelce was left one-on-one on the other. And watching that was just music to my ears, or my eyes, I should say, because it was outstanding. What are you going to do as a defense? Are you going to try and double Travis, or is he getting a one-on-one? When you have three guys set like that, no one knows how they're going to break, except for the offense. The defense is playing, they're backpedaling, and you saw it on a 4th and 2. You saw from that exact formation. I think all three of those guys potentially made a play. You only saw Hollywood 20 snaps in this game, but 8 targets, right? 5 receptions, 8 targets on 20 snaps. Outstanding. That intermediate route is alive and well here in Kansas City. I love the Chiefs using Xavier Worthy more or less in this intermediate route, short routes as well. I know it's hilarious every time he gets up and does this. So close, because he does get close 4 or 5 times a game. He's going to be easy to break down, and I can't get too upset because he's turning 3 or 4 yards into 5 or 6 or 7 because he is so quick. Relatively sure hands overall. And I do see, yes, Tim settled down, ate his words after Creed Humphrey bullied him on that first Kareem Hunt touchdown. Overall, really enjoyed this game. A nice game. One I think we as Chiefs fans needed to see for the offense going forward.
Are you sure that when Xavier Worthy does this, he's not making a gesture about Justin Timberlake? Are you not up on that news story?
No, I am not.
Look that up after the show.
No, thank you, Patrick. You know what? I'm not going to look up that.
Yeah. Good call. Yeah, man, I'm with you. Look, I think it's a little bit surprising because I think a lot of people thought Hollywood Brown, speed guy, right? Chiefs going to try to get the deep ball back, and that's how they're going to use him. And I remember, I've been saying since the preseason, hey, the only route that we saw Hollywood Brown run was kind of like a little bit of a drag route across the middle. We don't know how they're going to use him. And in this game, he fit right into their offensive style. Now, that doesn't mean he's not going to go on a 9 route at some point, but they're using him in a way that I think a lot of people just assumed he's just going to run straight down the field. That's not the case. He's separating from guys, and that's what the Chiefs need. They need a young guy who can separate, which is a little bit of a struggle for D-Hop and for Kelce. I see you've got your finger up. What's going on?
No, nothing. I'm looking at Robert Tonyan's stats. I'm getting that all pulled up for us.
Yeah, good deal. So I think he's going to be a huge addition to this offense. You already saw it. There's a comfortability level there with Mahomes and with Hollywood Brown. Another guy who can move the chains, who's a little bit younger, who can use that speed. And I think Xavier Worthy's settling into that role as well. But again, he's not really on the same page with Mahomes fully yet. He's a rookie. There are going to be mistakes. So having another veteran, reliable veteran that Mahomes can throw the ball to, I think it's easy to say, oh, well, it's one guy coming in and how's he going to make a difference? But this offense is one of the most efficient offenses in the league. They're an incredible ball control offense. I think they're something like 30th in total drives, but they're 3rd in the number of first downs or something like that. Something crazy, right? Because they just move the ball down the field, even though they don't get it and they control the clock. So one guy is the difference sometimes between a drive stalling out and a drive ending in points. And we have seen that over and over and over again this season where just a little bit off to Xavier Worthy, and so that we're punting. Now you've got Hollywood Brown. Now you've got more points. And I think it's going to transform this offense. And we already saw it against a very good, very stout pass rush in the Houston Texans. Big win for the Chiefs. All right, let's talk about Big Bob Tonyan.
Yeah, so Robert Tonyan signed to the Chiefs practice squad, tight end. He's played 5 games this year for Minnesota. He played in Chicago last year, so he just loves the NFC North, apparently, because he played 5 years in Green Bay, had his best years in Green Bay. If you remember him with Aaron Rodgers, became a really big red zone threat in 2020, had 11 touchdowns, 586 yards and 11 touchdowns in 2020, has been middling since then. Looked like he got injured in 21, came back in 22, and has really not been the same player. I like the flyer on Robert Tonyan, especially again with the known red zone, at least in the past, success that Robert Tonyan has had. Maybe you try and rock a little more 12 and 13 personnel. I don't know what this means in regards to Anthony Fursker, Peyton Hendershot. Is he coming off the IR? If so, where does that leave him? The Chiefs obviously like 12 and 13 personnel. They want to have at least 3 tight ends on game day. And giving some depth with Robert Tonyan does make some sense. Not known potentially or really as a great run blocker, but again, that's not what the Chiefs have gone for traditionally in their tight end position. So overall, it's a flyer on a practice squad tight end. I'm cool with it.
Yeah, I mean, look, they've had a ton of injuries at the tight end position. As you mentioned, they like to have multiple tight end sets out there. So this gets you a veteran guy who's played, he played with Aaron Rodgers for a number of years. So he's played in some high leverage situations with a at that time, good quarterback. And he's just another big body out there for the Chiefs to do some of the things they need to do, get in the way, help block. Maybe occasionally he leaks out. Nobody's paying any attention to him. And, he's got reliable hands. He can catch the ball. He can be another red zone threat for you. And that's what this Chiefs team is, man, right? You and I were on the radio this morning. We're talking about Samaje Perine. And some of the Chiefs just always have these guys. Everybody contributes. Maybe it's Justin Watson this game, Samaje Perine. Maybe they're throwing a pass to Mike Caliendo. Like the Chiefs try to use everybody on their roster and play to their strengths. So Robert Tonyan's just another guy they think probably. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets called up at some point for some things that they like to do with the multiple tight end sets. He's going to be maybe a little bit of a specialist there, or at least provide depth should any more injuries happen. Because this is it, right? Like, I mean, you got 2 games to go. Hopefully one of them you don't have to play. And now it's about getting ready for the postseason and making sure you've got the guys on your roster and all your ducks in a row to try to make this 3-peat run.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's injury protection right there. And speaking of injury protection, that is what they have on Underdog. Am I right, Patrick?
You aren't kidding, my friend. Underdog is the place to play if you're a sports fan looking to win money while watching sports. With 5 million happy players and 2 billion won, Underdog makes it fun and easy to cash in on all of your favorite athletes' performances. Compete against other players just by selecting higher or lower on 2 or more player stats, and you could win up to 1,000 times your money. So turn every touchdown into a win with Underdog. Plus, you get vulture protection. A lot of these, you're getting a lot of these committee backfields. The Chiefs have one now with Kareem Hunt and Isaiah Pacheco. So if you're trying to figure out which one of those guys is going to score, one of them vultures the other, we got your back. They'll rescue your entry on Underdog. It's $1,000 in bonus cash instantly. So you just download the app, right? Arrowhead Addict, all one word, support the show, and you'll get that $1,000 in bonus cash right away. Again, that's our code. Up to. Yeah, you're not going to get it. That's a very important distinction. That's our code, Arrowhead Addict, all one word, to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly. I bet we just got a lot of signups for people that don't listen to the whole thing. So it's just select higher or lower on your favorite player and cash in on Underdog. You want to take this away, Sterling?
You got it. Let's time. Richard, get the timer out, okay? Richard, on the back end, I need you. I'm giving you 5 seconds to get a timer up. I believe you can do it in 5, 4, 3, 2.
Oh, you're not doing it?
You're doing it, Patrick. That was all point.
I thought, all right. We're going to start over. We got to do a disclosure for this Underdog read. Sterling always does it. Thought he was. All right. You ready with that timer there, Richard? All right. We can go in 3, 2, 1. Must be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama, Nebraska, 19 plus Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Massachusetts and Arizona, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Void in Colorado. Concerned about your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. Arizona, 1-800-NEXT STEP, 1-800-639-8783 or text NEXT STEP to 53342. New York, the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE New York. Text HOPE New York 2467-369. 19. That's decent. What's your record? Is it 13 seconds? Did you do it in 13 seconds like the Bills?
Yeah, something like that.
Or was it 16 seconds?
It was close.
I think it was 16. I'm closing in on you. It was 16. So, okay. I've been practicing, as you can tell, and I wasn't prepared. I didn't warm up because I thought you were going to do it, but I'll get you, man. I'll get you. Okay. Let's talk really quickly about the tackle position. Wanye Morris steps in for Jawan Taylor, who had an injury. Have you heard an update, Sterling, on Jawan Taylor, and how did you think Wanye did stepping in there at the right side?
Yeah, I have not heard much. It's day to day or day by day is what the offensive line was as a whole in regards to this. I thought Wanye Morris did a great job. I thought he was really, really good, quite frankly. Way better at right tackle than he's looked at left tackle all season long. That is more or less his natural position. But you don't have to worry about Wanye Morris lining up too far back, huh? That dude is almost on the line of scrimmage, almost equal with Creed Humphrey. Very surprising there. But yeah, I thought Wanye looked really good.
He did. He played right tackle in college, so I think he was probably a little bit more comfortable. And former Kansas City Chief Jeff Schwartz said on Twitter that he thought he looked night and day from right side to left side. His technique, everything was better. And he's often talked about how hard it is to switch sides. So maybe that is the long-term answer for getting a little bit more value out of Wanye Morris. We will see. Shout out to Raymond Chandler for the super chat. Says, question, guys. Hunt is over 88% on third down or fourth and 1 with 1 or 2 yards to go. So why are we trying to use Pacheco in those situations? You know, Raymond, I tweeted about this, and Sterling and I talked about it on the radio this morning. I think Kareem Hunt should be the lead back in this backfield right now. Now, I'm not going crazy here and saying that Isaiah Pacheco should be sitting on the bench. I think Kareem Hunt is, he's an older back. You want to keep both these guys fresh. They're both good running backs. But it's clear to me right now, when Kareem Hunt gets the football, he's the better back. He has slightly better vision, maybe not as much speed, but he's got good power in those short area yardage. And you saw it in the game, right? After Isaiah Pacheco failed to pick up that third and short and then the fourth and short, it was Kareem Hunt the rest of the way, baby, and he looked great. What do you think, Sterling? Is Kareem Hunt the guy here moving forward?
60-40. Again, we saw what happened when Kareem Hunt gets too many carries. He wears down. He becomes ineffective and inefficient. I'm not saying he is like the bona fide RB1, but as far as timeshare goes, I think Kareem Hunt deserves to be the short yardage back and for sure the red zone back. I think Kareem Hunt has much better vision, as evidenced by Isaiah Pacheco running to the back of the offensive line on that 4th and 1 and 3rd and 1. And obviously, Andy Reid and the Chiefs did the same thing because that was basically done for Isaiah for the rest of the day. Kareem was the guy who took over after that. So I think both have a role. I think Samaje has a role as well. But yeah, short yardage and red zone situations, give me Kareem Hunt every single time. And more importantly, I think they should run to the right. Again, I understand if you're stacking the right side, you're not going to do that. But you get a much larger push with Trey Smith than you do. Again, I love Joe Tooney's done a great job at left tackle, but versus him and Caliendo on the left side, that right side's better run blocking.
Yeah, look, I mean, Joe Tooney, man, 41 pass blocks over there on the left side, 0 sacks allowed. I know he's given up some pressure. I know he had some limitations, but you can't argue with the results, man. It's better than it's been all season long. So let's just rock with it and see how things go. As we start to look ahead toward this Pittsburgh Steelers game where the Chiefs can clinch the number 1 seed, Sterling, Chris Jones is injured. He's got a calf strain, came out of the game against the Texans. He was estimated to not have practiced yesterday. Today, word is he did not practice again. How concerned are you that he's not going to be out there in this sort of pivotal game for Kansas City?
I guess concerned that he misses this game, yes. Concerned long-term, no. I think the Chiefs can still take this one even without Chris Jones. Now, that's going to be a huge blow to the defense, but same time, a healthy Chris Jones come playoff time is the most important factor here. I don't want him to strain it worse. It all comes down to what the doctors say, right? It's shockingly, I'm not Dr. Holmes. If I was, hopefully I can have some more information for you guys. But if you can't make that strain worse, sure, go ahead and play. But if there's even a chance that you could aggravate or re-aggravate that, I think Chris Jones needs to sit. Turk Wharton, Charles Omenihu, George Karlaftis, do what it takes for one game to get by, whether that's more blitz packages from Spagnuolo. You got to turn it up for one game because a healthy Chris Jones is going to be a massive difference come playoff time. It ain't worth it for one regular season game, even if it is a big regular season game.
So, these days in the era of social media, TikTok, all that stuff, there are people popping up all over the place, experts, doctors, people who don't know, they haven't seen the actual injury or examined the patient, but they try to give you some perspective. Jesse Moore's MD. Is he a real doctor? Who knows? But he's got 110,000 followers on Twitter. His profile here says board certified family and sports medicine physician expert, and he calls himself the fantasy doc. Here's what he says about Chris Jones, who has reportedly suffered a grade 1 calf strain. He says, I believe that Jones will likely miss the next 3 or 4 weeks and will return in the first playoff game. Why? Calf strains are notorious for re-injury. Zap's explosiveness. Re-injury to a grade 1 strain usually leads to a grade 2 strain, which can be about a 6 to 8 week injury. So again, this guy doesn't know. He hasn't examined Chris Jones, but he knows about these types of injuries. So it gives you sort of a baseline for how the Chiefs might be looking at this. It's really interesting, right? Because I thought during the game, Chris Jones didn't seem concerned at all. Like he was rubbing his calf. I thought it was a cramp. His demeanor when he walked off the field, I thought confirmed it was a cramp. But now we hear that there's a little bit of a minor injury. I'm with you, man. But this is a tough game to lose him for. This is a tough game to lose him for because the Pittsburgh Steelers and Russell Wilson likes to throw his moon balls, right? Steelers have a couple of deep threats out there. And the Chiefs struggle when wide receivers get matched up on these safeties. And the best way to stop that from happening is to get quick pressure. They may not be, just to Chris Jones has been unbelievable this year for the Chiefs. He hasn't gotten a lot of sacks, but listen to this from Marcus Mosier on Twitter. Chris Jones is first in pressures among all players with 74, first in hurries among all players with 53, first in PFF pass rush win rate among D tackles, 18.1%, and second in PFF grade among defensive tackles. That's like defensive player of the year type stuff if he had the sacks. And, that's unfortunate because pressures are more important in the long run than sacks. Do you think the Chiefs are at a significant disadvantage here if they don't have Chris Jones for this game? Are you worried they might lose it?
Oh, I'm not necessarily worried they lose it, but huge difference maker. Yeah, of course. And you're right. George Pickens looks like he's going to be back this week, missed last week, but it looks like George Pickens is at least trending that way. If that's the case, it's a big get back for Pittsburgh. But yeah, you're right. You're going to have to get pressure quick because of those bigger body guys with the moon ball. That's not traditionally the best matchup for Kansas City's secondary. You're just going to have to trust that, again, the other guys get home. This is your chance. They get paid money too. They get paid the big bucks. They were highly touted at one point in their careers. Got to show up for a game without them. I think they can do it. But again, we're not doctors. We don't know, but that is my concern. You got to try and get Chris Jones healthy. That is way more important than even this game, than even two games. Got to get healthy.
Yeah, and the Chiefs know how important he is. Like, they're not, I don't think that they're going to go crazy here and risk putting him out for actual playoff games. The Chiefs are in the playoffs. They're going to be the number 1 or the number 2 seed no matter what here. So they've just got to go in here and thank God Charles Omenihu is back. If they didn't have him, I would be extra concerned. But they do, and he's heating up, and the Chiefs have been heating up the last few games here. But you're right, man. George Pickens, he's a problem. And Russell Wilson's going to let it rip. And you remember, he's had success against the Chiefs, Russell Wilson. Even during his time in Seattle, got a win against them, helped break the streak with the Broncos. So Russell Wilson is not completely cooked, as you can see by the success that the Steelers have been having this year. And this is a huge game for Pittsburgh. They're fighting for the division here. This is the difference between, getting that home playoff game and being a wild card team for Pittsburgh. They're tied with Baltimore at 10-5, but they've got the edge right now. Of course, those two teams play again, but Pittsburgh's going to want to get this win. They're at home on Christmas. I don't know, man. I'm nervous about this one. If Chris Jones was playing, I'd feel a lot better, but tight turnaround, road game, holiday distraction. Now, look, the Chiefs were at home last year and the Raiders beat them. So maybe the Pittsburgh goes out there and lays an egg, but I'd much rather, I feel a lot better if Chris Jones is going to be out there. Is there anything else that concerns you about this Pittsburgh team heading into this game? It opened up Pittsburgh -2.5. It has since moved to, I believe the Chiefs are 3.5-point favorites. No, 3-point favorites on the road at Pittsburgh. So the market says Casey's a better team here, even on the road.
Yeah, I mean, Pittsburgh is a good team. The Chiefs are the better team. Pittsburgh is a solid team. I think the Chiefs are a great team. There's some differences here. Like Russell Wilson is having a really nice season, but there has been some inconsistencies, especially because of the fact that it really takes the run game for Pittsburgh to get going. Fact is, the Chiefs are outstanding against the run. To me, this is a bad stylistic matchup for the Steelers. This Chiefs team is no longer the finesse team early on when Patrick got here, or even when Alex Smith was here. This is and can be a very physical team. Guys like Justin Reed, Nick Bolton, these guys are very physical. They lay the wood, and Nick Bolton talked about it. It's man on man. You got to be physical. This is a game and a matchup where physicality will be paramount. And I like the Chiefs' chances. I like the fact that the Chiefs' offense and Patrick, after the past couple weeks, has really started to take an uptick. Now, obviously not the week prior, right when Patrick got injured, but a couple weeks prior to that. And then, of course, last week, I really thought the Chiefs' offense is trending the correct way.
Yeah, I'm with you. Now, look, this is a good Pittsburgh defense. They only allow 19.9 points per game. That's pretty good. And they score 23.5 points per game. The guys you got to worry about here, obviously, if you're the Chiefs defense, it's Pickens. But they got another deep threat by the name of Calvin Austin, who has been connecting with Russell Wilson. So Chiefs safeties, man, and this secondary, this is a game to prove that that what happened there kind of in the middle of the season when things weren't going well, after the injuries, that they are indeed getting their footing. It's not just the pass rush that they can hold up as well, because it's kind of a perfect test for them in the deep ball.
I can't wait for Mike Williams, I'm assuming he's healthy. Am I wrong? Is Mike Williams? I haven't heard about him hardly all year since he first got there. Had that one touchdown.
Yeah, he's got like 8 receptions for 170
he
yards.
Had 3 receptions last game. My point is, Mike Williams versus the Chiefs. Maybe this is the most dangerous matchup of all.
Yeah. He's a little way down on the list. And another one that they're going to have to watch out for in this game that gives me a little bit of concern is Pittsburgh's tight end, Pat Freiermuth. He's good pass catching tight end. He's got 50 receptions this year for 508 yards and 6 touchdowns. That is the guy in the red zone that the Chiefs are going to have to worry about. They also throw to Darnell Washington, who's a second-year tight end for them. So they like to use a couple of different tight ends, mainly Freiermuth. The Chiefs have struggled there. But look, if I had to guess in this game, Spagnuolo is going to try to take away Pickens. He is the offensive threat on this team. Spags likes to take somebody away. That usually means that somebody else is going to have a big game. In the last game, it looked like Tank Dell was going to be that guy. He was going to be the one the Chiefs were going to. He was the Gabe Davis role, where like do what you can because we're going to take X and Y and Z away. Mixon didn't do anything really against the Chiefs, and Nico Collins didn't do too much damage either. So it's probably they're probably going to try to take away Pickens. So maybe it's Jaylen Warren, maybe it's Pat Freiermuth, maybe somebody goes off, but hopefully the Chiefs have the recipe for victory.
Yeah, and weather, it looks like, at least what I've seen so far, about 37 degrees, about a 20 to 30% chance of rain, which is horrible weather, at least if you're a fan, but it doesn't look like a great chance of snow from what I have seen so far. Let's get into some score predictions now, Patrick. I'm thinking a little 24. I'll go 24-19. 24-19 Kansas City.
I love that. And I hope the Chiefs actually score 24 points. I have a bad feeling about this one in that it's a good defense. It's on the road. It's on Christmas. It's on a mega short week. So I think we're probably, unfortunately, in for a super ugly game. Pittsburgh is the kind of team that likes to make games ugly anyway. And if there's no team in the NFL that loves playing ugly more than the Kansas City Chiefs. So it's kind of like a match made in heaven. I wouldn't be surprised if it's like 6-3 heading into the fourth quarter. But give me the Chiefs in this one. God, this is gross. 13-10 on a Harrison Butker field goal. 10-10 all day long. Mahomes gets the ball with 2-minute warning and goes down there, and Chiefs take it.
Well, I'll just say it. He is the Grinch, and I will be your Santa Claus. Ho, ho, ho. We appreciate everyone here who's been hanging out with us, chatting with us. Join the Discord if you can. Give us a like. Give us a review. 5 stars wherever you get your podcast. We'll try and read those more as the season comes to an end and into the playoffs as well, I should say. Means a lot to us. The road to 400. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, whatever you celebrate, have fun with your family. For Patrick Allen, I'm Sterling Holmes. Richard doing his thing, keeping us on here. Until next time, we are out.